Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Red for Anfield Index. It is Sunday, the 15th of June. Happy Father's Day to those that are celebrating, and a quiet word for those that I know sometimes struggle on this day as well. But we're here to talk about all things Liverpool, and my people, is it absolutely insane in the world of the Reds right now in terms of incomings, outgoings? It just feels like it's ramping up like it's never done before, in all honesty. And the Club World Cup starts today. Transfer window 2 opens tomorrow. But right now, there's a million different things going on with the Reds, isn't there? It is just Christ, we really best get into it. But I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from pretty gloomy Edinburgh right now. Fingers crossed it warms up, but we've seen worse, so we'll see how this pans out. So what are the headlines of the day? If I scan over these on Anfield Index, some I like in terms of incomings, some I definitely don't like in terms of suggested incomings. There's an outgoing, maybe more than one on the screen as well. There's a million things to talk through. So let's just get straight into it. And before we talk about players, I kind of mentioned this on the show, and then literally as I came off, this got tweeted out, which made me happy. So Michael Edwards, there's a lot of suggestions that Michael Edwards could be off to Al Hilal in that role, but Ben Jacobs tweeted yesterday, literally just as I was finishing the show, I missed this one to be honest, that suggestions Michael Edwards agreed to join Al Hilal are wide of the mark. Al Hilal made an outreach a few weeks ago, having had a strong interest in Edwards at the time, but there was no formal meeting and offer. Instead, Edwards rebuffed the approach, which was a great start when I saw this yesterday, and a great start to this show as well, because we know how important he is in the whole setup. And I've mentioned this on a few shows, and people have kind of, I don't know what you call it, pushed back, disagreed on it. When I've said that the info we've got Anfield Index is that Michael Edwards is very much in charge of the sales element and that relationship with the Saudis. And people have jumped on it going, no, it's Richard Hughes. That's not how it works. But as Ben Jacobs tweeted here, Edwards is currently overseeing Liverpool's summer transfer window via his role as FSG CEO of Football, supporting Richard Hughes. So that was a good start. Now, the page I've got up here, for those that aren't on social media or seeing this, is the Liverpool squad, the Premier League's official page. The title winners, these lads, of 24-25. And what a group of lads it is. However, unlike I think ever before in recent history, this group could just be torn apart. Not necessarily in a bad sense, but I think right now a lot of journalists and other people have suggested there will be change. Of course there will, because of those that will go out, those that will come in, but there can't be too much change. But based on what's happening at the moment, I don't think you'd put any cash on how many definitely in, and maybe more importantly, how many definitely out, because there are question marks galore against some of these and a few surprises. So let's get into probably the biggest story of yesterday. Now, I'll be honest, I heard this on Thursday, and we hear a lot Anfield Index during the transfer windows. I'm sure many of you do. And when I heard this, I honestly thought, bollocks, absolute nonsense. Like, what next? Joe Gomez to Barcelona or something like this. But bit of egg on my face with this one, that as Ornstein, Joyce, everyone sort of put out yesterday, Atletico Madrid are weighing up a move to sign Liverpool left back Andy Robertson. That was the Ornstein tweet. No formal talks yet between the club or with the 31-year-old, but Theo Hernandez is out of the frame and he's amongst the options. Now, quite a few have then obviously written the stories, tweeted it, and this one does seem to be advanced more than it first came out as. This does seem to be like one of those typical Liverpool deals where it comes in, it's like, oh wow, and then actually they're a good few steps down the line further than you thought. And upon sort of digging like we do at Anfield Index, information that we got is a couple of things that, yeah, absolutely, the talks are around a fee specifically. And the other thing to really say, Robbo wants the move. That was the key information that we got from a good few sources, that he's keen for this. And there's a couple of things to steer into with this. Andy Robertson is a Liverpool legend. Zero doubt on that for me. I'm not interested, to be honest, in hearing anything to the contrary on that. He's been a great player for us. Unbelievable value for that 8 million, the Kevin Stewart exchange, however you want to pitch it as. An unbelievable player. At his pomp, right up there as a world-class left-back. He's won the biggest prizes in the game with us as well. He's been a key part of the team that's won the biggest prizes in the game as well. It's known his impact at the club, the intangibles, as in the leadership, what he brings. And it's interesting, Halil Matti has just tweeted, messaged there, commented, Robertson isn't going anywhere. I'd brace yourself, Halil. I'd now be surprised if Andy Robertson is at Liverpool by the end of this window. We will have to see. But all the noise is coming out is that he's keen on it. So the legendary status, that goes into the mix. However, fact comes into the mix, and the statistical analysis come into the mix as well. So here's some key facts. We all know who Robbo's agency is. And this is important to say because a lot of people say it's the same agent as number 66 who's just left. Our understanding is that obviously that person is a director of that agency and linked, but it is actually a slightly different agent. But the interference, the issue is there. And obviously there's an issue between that agency and the club now for obvious reasons. So that goes into the mix. The other fact that has been quite clearly communicated and released by a few, that agency has suggested to Liverpool they should let Robbo go on a free or for a very nominal fee. And I know people, and I've got opinions on this, that element of, you think back to Hendo and Atletico and how that same agency tried to get him out on a free. And it was a smaller fee, but there was still a fee obtained. We know what's just happened with 66. At the same time as well, there's no way Liverpool are going to release Andy Robertson on a free. And I've no doubt some people will be thinking he's earned it, he deserves it. And I can understand that argument. I disagree with it personally, but I could understand the case that's being made. However, just in terms of the overall move, I don't think this is a bad move at all for a number of reasons. If the bean counters are involved, this is a player with a year left who, even if you get a nominal fee, you can knock a good wage off the wage bill. And that's important to say because from doing a bit of digging on this, when Robbo signed his deal under Klopp, it was one of the last remaining incremental deals that Liverpool did, as they called it, i.e., one of those ones where the basic wage went up each year. So Robbo's towards the end of that. So remember that his basic wage and the bonus structure would have gone up each year. So he's right up there as one of the top earners. We're not talking Van Dijk, Salah, but in the wage structure of Liverpool, he is. So to get a nominal fee and knock that wage off the wage bill, the bean counters will be there. Okay, they'll be thinking that. And I can see the different valuations. So people going 15, 20. I think that's the fact that he's a year left on his contract, his age. And Liverpool, I think, will be, charitable's the wrong word, but favourable to not going top end of demand on the fee because of the service Robbo gives. That comes into the move for me. Also, Liverpool legend, no doubt. But we need to be a bit factual about what we've seen this season. Robbo's been at the scene of the crime quite often, hasn't he? Whether it be for own goals, penalties against Southampton, red cards against Fulham. There's been a lot of things that have gone wrong, shall we say, for Robbo this season. Also, it's important to say that if you look at his Premier League and Champions League minutes, he has been the first choice fullback still. Over 3,000 minutes in those two competitions alone. So that comes into the mix as well. I think Kieran Connors phrased it well there. Just go hard facts. 10 million and 180k off the wage bill. I think that looks attractive in those terms. Now, this is where we have to be careful of how I say it, but we all know who's coming to replace him. Milos Kerkez. I mean, there was that tweet yesterday, wasn't there, from Romano saying, not listening to any other calls or approaches, and he's going to join Liverpool. I don't give a fuck if my mum, my girlfriend are on their deathbed. Unless it's Richard Hughes, I am not taking a call. Like it, don't we? Milos Kerkez, it's just a matter of time. It's when, not if. We're all waiting for that. And I'm sure we all clocked the news as well that Bournemouth have now agreed the full deal with the Rennes left back, whatever he's called. So it's all lining up for next week quite nicely. Really important to say that. So then people, and I've seen this, go, well, it's all right, actually, then, because you can sell Robbo because he's dwindling a bit. And then Simicas is your replacement, and that's all fine. Couple of things to say on this. In the big two competitions last season, Costas played sod all, about 1,300 minutes. I can't understand anyone who would make the argument that Simicas is rated by Arne Slot. We know it's not the case. Robbo's had his worst ever season because he's dwindling, and that's not being disrespectful. It's natural. He's at the tail end of his career at his time at Liverpool. It's what's to be expected. And yet he still plays a lot more than Simicas, or played a lot more than Simicas. Slot clearly does not rate Costas Simicas, which people are going to go mad and disagree with me on the chat panel on this, because I know the word Owen Beck will come in. But again, doing a bit of digging on this yesterday, there's not any belief that, remember, Liverpool nearly sold him to Celtic, Rangers, a few others last summer, that he will come in and take that spot. That actually, and people are going to shout at this and disagree, but I love these type of minutes, that actually Liverpool will countenance selling both Robbo to Atletico and Costas Simicas this summer and bring in Milos Kerkez, who has shown even at his young age of 21, he can do 3,000 plus minutes. I honestly, it would not surprise me. Everyone has just gone, well, we'll keep Costas. Does Costas want to stay? Number one. Number two, Arne Slot clearly doesn't fancy him. I honestly think, and we'll see what bears out here, I won't be surprised if this makes Joe Gomez staying more attractive across the board, because Joe Gomez can cover your left side as well. And also it gives the option like Slot had at Feyenoord, where obviously it was Gertruda on the other side, inverts the fullback and the other one pushes on. It could be possible. There's also a possibility that, I'm just being honest, who would come in behind Kerkez? Say Simicas goes as well. What left back is going to be prepared to come in? Because they know full well that we're going to drop the best part, 45 million on Kerkez. Who's going to come in behind that? So you'd have to be a youthful player, wouldn't it? And I know people keep saying Hato to me, Hato and this money. Where's Hato's minutes going to come from? Because Kerkez is clearly being bought for that money to be the starter at left back. Where is Hato going to get the minutes that he's wanting for his development? I'm just really struggling to see this one. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just wonder if And there's different theories, it's all theories in it. I'm sure people are shouting and disagreeing, but Joe Gomez then becomes valuable for his ability to cover the left side as well as centre-back, right-back. And also, it's interesting, there's not many linked with Joe Gomez because of the injury problems, is there? Yeah, but see, maybe it's if a centre-back comes in, maybe there's a part if Robbo and Simicas go, that it's one of those centre-backs that can play left-back at the same time. And I know people are going to shout, well, that's Hato. If you look at his FB ref profile, and we did a bit of chatting to the various Dutch, say, pundits, journos that we get on Anfield Index, and they're all adamant that A, he's not ready to do both and be a centre-back in the Premier League. And number two, as they all say, a lot of people just seem to be ignoring this. For the best part of the last year, he's not played centre-back for Ajax. And they're all adamant on that to a man, the Dutch pundits. Now, I don't watch the Eredivisie week in, week out, but I see people commenting a lot. Now, there's a bit of me thinking, yeah, but do you as well? Because that's what these experts are telling us. We'll see. It's exciting, isn't it? There could be more out, one in. I'm just banding around theories here. I can see some people going mental in the chat panel. So fun, ladies and gents. But this summer, for these types of things, don't bank on a thing in terms of incomings and outgoings. We just aren't 100% sure what's going to happen. But I think the chances of Andy Robbo being a Liverpool player by the end of the window are diminishing rapidly. Now, this, ladies and gents, might just be a manifestation, but this name has come up all summer, all the way back to that Sam Maguire exclusive. We know Atletico like Robbo and want Robbo. We know Atletico like and want Darwin Núñez. It's all obviously about the price and what can be done. Well, if you like Darwin Núñez, Atletico, and El Cholo, if you like Robbo as well, there's an incredibly intelligent, smart Argentinian forward we will pay good money for on top of giving you them two players. I know it's maybe there's an element of manifestation, but it's moved beyond the impossible now, you'd fancy. It's just into that highly unlikely, just the dip below the impossible. Just to be clear, because I know people will start on this, I am not expecting Julian Alvarez to join Liverpool, but it is an interesting point of discussion because of what's happening. We clearly want the player who scored 24 goals across La Liga and the Champions League, 5 assists, 29 goal contributions in an ultimately defensive team. We want that player. His wife coming back to England, different base, there's a different discussion, but that all comes into, I mean, just his stats as well. And this is profiling against elite forwards, as FB Ref shows. 94th percentile for shot creating actions, passes attempted, carries. If anything, his shots per game is only in the 58th percentile, 2.5. We look for 3 or more with our forwards normally. So if you can get his shots up, sweet baby Jesus, what the goals and assists could bring. It's difficult. It's going to be near on impossible. But the fact that Atletico like both Darwin and Robbo, do not start rolling this out. As Lenny Kravitz said, lads, it ain't over till it's over. So those are probably the biggest stories doing the rounds. What else is there as well, ladies and gents? One that's good business. Yaros, Vitslav Yaros, the keeper, he is going on a season-long loan to Ajax. That's pretty much been confirmed in both countries. And he's signing a new contract before he goes, a long-term deal at the same time, which you've got to be honest, gives us the best collection of keepers around, doesn't it? Alisson. I mean, there was a nonsense story from Plettenberg, wasn't there, about Alisson and Galatasaray? Give over. The Alisson we know staying for a couple of years. Marmadashvili as the deputy and the new one off off the rank. Yaros as the third. Pesci we've just brought in. Liverpool have an insane collection of goalkeepers, don't they? And so it's just positive. And even if it doesn't work out long term for Yaros at the club, very possible. It's great asset protection. This loan at Ajax will only increase his value as well. So best of luck to him. This is a win-win all round. Other stories, and this is more of an outgoing. I saw some of the quotes. Julian Quanza, he was interviewed by a number of journos at the England under-21 camp. I don't know if they've got their game today or tomorrow that it is their game number 2. But he was talking and people jumped on this bit about taking the next step. And this is the actual quote, just fully. So I sort of dug into this to get it for you. So what he said to journalists at his interview, if you want to call it that, it's definitely developing. I'm not getting too high or too low. I can take massive learnings from the 3 seasons I've been in professional football, from Bristol to now. I'm in a very good position to take the next step. And it just comes with working hard and staying focused on what I can control. The next step is the big question for Julian Quanza, isn't it, ultimately? Because if we are deadly honest, it was a bit of a back-to-earth season, wasn't it? Hardly played. Julian Quanza. In fact, when Joe Gomez was fit, he was the 4th choice centre-back. It's crucial to say that as well. I also don't believe Arne Slot fancies him. So where is he if he wants to take that next step? How is he going to get it at Liverpool? Because the only real option for Julian Quanza to take the next step is to play football, to get minutes. And I just don't see him getting that at Liverpool at all. Now, there's clearly interest from other clubs. As we've mentioned, there's Premier League clubs on the transfer show. Leverkusen are clearly interested in Julian Quanza as well. The only thing to say is with the Leverkusen one, they do seem keen, but they're already looking at cheaper options that I know people are going to say, well, Frimpong, Wirtz, they've just got that money from us, a big chunk of change. Of course they have. But that's still defined within the budget of spending and the normal amount they spend on transfers. Just because they've got 130 million doesn't mean they're about to drop 130 million on 2 players. And in fact, Liverpool, they put it out in reports, haven't they? Value Julian Quanza around the £50 million mark, whereas suggestions that Leverkusen are around 35 million. And I think 35 million is their top end. Just think it'll be too rich for their blood, too big a gap to bridge. So Julian Quanza wants to take the next step. Just don't see it with us. So then you've got the issue of, got another player that could be leaving. Who's going to pay that money? Will be interesting to see on that one. Other stories. Yeah. I'm going to be on record. I don't like this one at all. But it is a name that keeps coming up when we speak to various journos, analysts and bits, and that keeps coming up in the press. This Anthony Gordon Liverpool link will just not die. It just keeps coming up and up again. Obviously, we know what happened last summer and how it was so nearly done with Joe Gomez being part of the package, but he signed a new deal. But it just keeps coming up and up and up again, which I don't like at all. And I fully agree with that emoji from Ollie Chuck there. I can't lie. And there's many reasons for that. And it's funny, isn't it? In the chat panel, people having debates. Some people say big fan. Some people say not good enough. Some people even saying he's better than others that we've got. All opinions. But you be factual. I mean, Newcastle got Champions League. They were a good side last year. But 6 goals, 5 assists. Injuries as well. So 11 goal contributions. And that's in nearly 2,500 minutes. I know it's not just headline numbers, but let's dig a bit deeper. I mean, St. Paul and the Orphans. I mean, look at them stats, people. Progressive carries is his highest in the 73rd percentile. And that is against other decent, attacking midfielders, wingers as well. But that's his highest. Okay. Honestly, now I always try and be balanced and look at things to see if we're missing it. And speaking to a few analysts, the one reason that they say why Anthony Gordon keeps coming up is because of how he profiles right now and his age. So it is important to say right now, Anthony Gordon is 24 years old, which is normally an age Liverpool like to buy forwards. He's homegrown. That will pay, add to the premium on the fee, of course. But the big thing that a few analysts have said to us is his numbers right now around Newcastle in the last 3 seasons actually are very similar to a couple of players in terms of Diogo Jota at Wolves and Sadio Mane at Southampton. There's a lot of similarities in terms of shots per 90, where he takes those shots from, the areas he does his damage. And I'll be honest, that's not me saying that. That's what analysts have told us. So that's just me passing it on. I'm on record multiple times. I don't want us to sign Anthony Gordon, but I'm just trying to understand more than anything why he is in the mix. He's rapid as well, as people will say that. Wins a lot of free kicks. Dives a bit, doesn't he? But, I'm just passing it on. Do I want us to sign Anthony Gordon again? Absolutely not. But this is one, weirdly, just doesn't die, does it? Just die, this link, please. But I can't get rid of it just yet. So there you go. Those are the latest stories. Shout out as well, I should say this, to El Gibbo. So Eddie's written another article. He's back in the old writing, so he's probably dug out his quill and his ink from the days of ye old and started penning a few columns. Well worth reading, actually, on our Substack around Arne Slot, recent moves like that. So I will give him a shout. I have read that. There's a few lines in there that did make me laugh at the same time. What else have we got content-wise for you? Honestly, looking like the Ferrero Rocher advert, we are despoiling you because in the last 24 hours alone, we had the Verts Impact show from Trev. We had Eddie and Nina doing a season review. Dave jumped on to talk about Robbo and his future as well. And even this morning, Sai and Marty Luffman talked about fatigue index, as in fitness levels, flexibility, and a little bit on Ruben Peters as well. So all that for you in the last 24 hours or so. And even this coming week, all the shows will have as normal, but we'll have a few specials, a few surprises in that regard as well. Don't make me laugh in the chat panel. Someone just said, we're not getting Isaac. We can't going to buy Isaac, Albert. I'm not saying we're going to buy them all. Part of this is talking you through the stories and the latest things we're hearing and going through them. That is all we're doing here. And shout out to Ollie who says, fatigue index is a really good watch. Yeah, I did enjoy that one, especially the bit on Ruben Peters and his methodology. So shout out to Cy and Marty on that one. Well worth a listen, download, however you're prepared to do it. But I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, I'm glad it's Father's Day because it means I might have to do a bit less around the house. I'm also glad the weekend is coming to an end because I can't take more of this, to be fair. Can't be handling like Vert stories, Robbo developments. I can't handle the fact that trying to keep up to date with the flamethrower that Michael and Richard are taking to the squad. It is just a crazy time to be a Red. We have never, ever seen as much business happening. And I'm going to put it on the screen again, ladies and gents. These boys who won us the 24-25 title. How many are left next season? Especially that forward line. Christ, we pretty much nearly managed to go a show without talking about Diaz and Chiesa and Nunes departing altogether. You know it's going to be busy next week. Would it even be a surprise if on Monday we got the Kirkes news? It wouldn't, would it? Let's be honest. We're all expecting that to happen in the near future. But there we are, ladies and gents. Sunday, the 15th of May. The transfer window 2 officially opens tomorrow. Don't remove your eyes for 1 second because it is all happening at Anfield, isn't it? But on Sunday, the 15th of May, 15th of June even, that was another Daily Red for Anfield Index.